lady. How about you shut the up? I'm doing Lou too, bitch.
Yeah, good morning, and that's Uncle Lou here. Yeah, that's right, it's me, Uncle Lou. Live for you on YouTube today. Thanks for watching. Really appreciate it also. And too, hope you enjoyed last weekend's games. At this rate, we may not have any. This weekend, everybody is getting ate up with the Rona. Which is weird. Fruit Loop Drooler's been telling me for 6 months that the Rona was going to disappear the day after the election. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if college football doesn't know the election was last week. I don't know what's going on here. But it's alarming, though. Lots of games canceled. Maybe more coming soon. And just my luck, I buy a ticket to a game on a Monday. The damn thing gets canceled on a Tuesday. So, or postponed or whatever, but I'm not going up there on December 12th. So, yeah. Oh, hold on. The phone system just disconnected. Hold on a second. Hold on 1 second. Let me reconnect it. All right, there you go. Sorry about that. I don't know what happened. Dropped the call. Anyway, yeah, that's just my luck, though. Buy a ticket to a game, and the next day they postponed the damn thing. What's a YouTube platform violation? What are you talking about? Stop buying tickets. Biden cancels Florida National Championship. Boy, this guy. YouTube platform violation. Are you having a stroke, sir? Do we need to call the ambulance for you? Lou, pay your electric bill. Who is this guy? Does it appear that the electric bill has not been paid? I'll have to check. Now I just want to sit here and play with this troll. But y'all don't want to see me do that, do you? That gets me in trouble when I do that anyway. Anyway, welcome to Uncle Lou After Dark, the college football call-in show. Do this 2 nights a week, year-round, Tuesday and Thursday night. Am I fixing you? Yeah, I'll fix you. There you go. You've been fixed, at least for 5 minutes anyway. Every Tuesday and Thursday at 10 p.m. Eastern. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Yeah, let's try this. There you go. Every Tuesday and Thursday at 10 p.m. Eastern, Uncle Lou After Dark, the college football call-in show. We will get to the phone calls here in just 1 second. Don't forget about the morning show, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday at 8 a.m. And we're hiring. If you were listening to the show this morning, tune in. We don't do the morning show on Wednesdays, but tune in Thursday and Friday. We're hiring. We're trying to get, anyway, if you listen this morning, you know what I'm talking about. If you didn't listen this morning, then listen on Thursday. We're hiring. Tune in Thursday and Friday morning. We need some help on the morning show. Yeah, so tune in. Yeah, we need some news type people. Yeah, I'm pretty excited about it. Tune in Thursday, Friday, morning show, 8 a.m. Don't forget about lunch money, too, with me and Pigskin Pete. Every Tuesday and Thursday at noon. It's a gambling show. And me and Pete aren't expert gamblers. We're just college football fans. And it's just fun to talk about the spreads. And we win some and we lose some. But it just so happens this past weekend, me and Pete both had amazing weekends. Pete, I think, was 5-2 or 6-2. I was 8-1. These are on games we actually put money on. You know, we pick like 80 games or whatever. But the games we actually put money on, Pete was 5-2 or 6-2, something like that. I was 8-1. So we had good weekends this weekend. But we have fun on that show. Tune in. We talked about the Masters today, too. Me and Pete made a friendly bet on the Masters. He picked a Clemson alum. I picked a UGA alum. Whichever player finishes with the lowest score wins the bet between me and Pete. I can't remember who he picked. some jamoke nobody's ever heard of. Uncle Lou, of course, went ahead and scooped up Bubba Watson. Yeah, I had to. And I did too. Weird here this week, Masters Week. You know, Masters Week is a big deal here, economically, financially, but just it's usually in the spring. Kids are out of school that week for spring break. There's usually all kinds of concerts and stuff going on here surrounding the Masters tournament. And, of course, none of that is happening this year. No fans at the Masters at all. In fact, at one point yesterday, I think it was my son said something about the Masters tournament, and I was like, oh, yeah, I forgot that was this week. And normally it's impossible to forget because there's just the traffic is ridiculous. And, you know, you go to Walmart and you see Jack Nicholson buying a phone charger, whatever. It's crazy here during Masters Week. So this has been kind of disappointing Masters Week. But College Game Day will be live from the Augusta National on Saturday for no particular reason at all. So that's good, I guess. So tune in for that. And the Saturday shows are back on now because if you've been listening to the other live shows this week, I had to cancel the Saturday shows for this coming week because I was going to be out of town at a game. That game has been postponed, so I'm not going to that game. I bought tickets on Monday to Tennessee and Texas A&M, and then today they postponed the damn game, so can't go. So I'll be stuck here making videos for you all day like I normally do on a Saturday during the season. So live show at 9 a.m., College Game Day. And then I'll, post videos all day long. I'll stream. I haven't figured out my streaming schedule for Saturday yet, but I'll stream during one of the time slots. And we'll go from there. Probably going to do 2 streams on Saturday. We'll see. I'll do the Patreon stream like I do every week. I'll let them pick what time slot they want me to stream. And then I'll pick one of the other 2 time slots to stream here on the channel for whoever wants to hang out and watch some games with us on Saturday. We have a good time during those live streams, too. I get a little carried away. I guess not as carried away as, I get carried away during a Georgia game, clearly, but even the other games. Clemson, I was going nuts last week during the Patreon stream. That Clemson game, Clemson cost me $400. I had a 3-team parlay, $50. I had Cincinnati minus 12.5, Oregon minus 9.5, and Clemson minus 5.5. I hit Cincinnati, I hit Oregon, and it looked like I was going to hit Clemson there at the end until they screwed it up on that last possession of the fourth quarter. Thanks a lot, Tater. Would have won me $350. But anyway, should. That was the only game I lost all day was the Clemson game. Finished 8-1, so can't complain. Anyway, how y'all doing? Doing okay? None of y'all got the Rona, do you? If you got the Rona, wear a mask when you type, please. We don't want that spread around the comments section. Parker, thank you for hitting the super chat right at the top of the show today. I really appreciate that. The super chats and the PayPals are what keep these live shows going, guys and girls. So not just for me, but these other YouTubers that you like to watch within the college football community or whatever YouTubers you like to watch that are doing these live shows. If you can, if you enjoy what they're doing, throw them $1 or $2. Really means a lot to me. I'm sure, it obviously means a lot to everyone else too. So if you can support these live shows that you watch, the Super Chat or the PayPal links are a great way to do it. I'll post the PayPal link in the chat section one time, and then if a couple of mods can copy it and paste it once every 15 minutes or so, that would be great. Parker, thank you for the Super Chat. He says, I feel like we're headed for a college football train wreck December through January. I don't see how all these postponed games end up getting made up. They're not getting made up. Take Florida, for example. The SEC only has one makeup day. It's December 12th, right? Well, who's Florida supposed to play this week? Arkansas. That game gets canceled. Florida's already postponed the LSU game. So you see what I'm saying? If another Florida game gets canceled, you can't make them both up. So, there's no way all these games are getting made up. Plus, if you find yourself in a situation where you're not playing for anything, what's the point of playing on December 12th? You know what I mean? So, no, all the games are not going to get made up. Some of them will. Games that may need to be played to determine division winners or bowl eligibility or something like that will be played. But in a lot of cases, you're going to have teams who had more than one game canceled or postponed. They can't play 2 games in one day. So clearly, a lot of these games are just going to be canceled altogether and never played. Florida finds a way to back into the SEC title game every single year, don't they? They sure do. They canceled the LSU game right after they got humiliated by Texas A&M, knowing they was going to catch an L to LSU. They had no defense. So instead, they ended up getting 3 weeks off to fix their defense in the middle of the season. Didn't have to play LSU. Rescheduled it for the 12th. Now they're going to end up getting another game postponed here coming up soon, and they're going to end up never playing LSU. So You know, Florida. What's Florida going to be in a 10-game season? What are they going to finish 8-2? Why does this phone call keep disconnecting? Hold on. This is irritating.
Thank you for calling Collins Studios.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Enter your 6-digit PIN.
Yeah, there you go.
Welcome, host. You are now in the host room and can manage your callers from the Collins Studio web interface.
Thank you. Thanks, accept me. Let's get to the phone calls. Maybe that'll fix it. Who knows? Not me. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou.
Hey, what's up, Uncle Lou?
I can't call it, buddy.
It's Michael Vick.
Of course it is. What's up? What's up, Michael Vick?
So I heard that someone said that I might be good for the news thing.
Someone did throw your name in the, yes, someone did throw your name in the hat, so to speak. Threw your hat in the ring, as it were.
Yeah.
Yes. Are you interested?
Yeah, I think that was Ballard. Yeah, I think that was Ballard.
Yeah, are you interested, though?
Sure. Well, I might be able to.
No one's going to beg you. I mean, no one's going to beg you. If you're not interested, that's fine. It's up to you. Auditions will be held. Auditions will be held Thursday and Friday from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. right here on YouTube for you. So it's up to you.
Okay. But I can't come on the show on Fridays.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. None of that matters. Well, we can discuss all this on the morning show, though.
Okay.
Yeah, but it doesn't. Yeah, you don't have to come on. It's not an everyday thing, so don't worry about that. 1 day a week, whatever day, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
So don't worry about that.
Okay.
Anyway, what's on your mind this evening, sir?
So I wanted to ask you, if there could be a possibility of playing postponed games on the 19th if neither participant is playing in the SEC title game.
That hasn't been anything that's been mentioned by the SEC. No. That doesn't mean they won't change their mind, but as of now, that's not the plan. There's only one makeup day, and it's December 12th.
Oh, okay. So it would be great. Yeah, Florida could somehow lose to Felipe Franks.
It would be hilarious, no doubt about it. It would be one of the funniest losses. It would be one of the funniest losses of the season. I don't expect that to happen, though. But it would be funny, no doubt about it. It would be hilarious. It would be hilarious.
Yeah, it would.
Yeah. Okay, Michael Vick, thank you for the call, sir. It was good to hear from you. Yeah. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou.
Hey, Lou. It's Nate, the depressed Wolverine fan. How are you doing, sir?
What, you done went and changed your damn name now?
Well, I had to make sense, though. I mean...
Oh. What do you do? So you're the depressed Wolverines fan now?
Yeah, because that loss to Indiana, if you get it.
Yeah, believe me, I get it. I definitely get it.
Okay. Oh, yeah, I mean, I'm kind of done with John Harbaugh. I gave him a chance, but after that loss to Indiana, I'm done. Time for a new coach.
You're done with Harbaugh, huh? You want Harbaugh gone, huh?
Well, yes, but I'm not done with Michigan, though. I just done with Harbaugh. I'm a fan that never. Like for example, you don't give up Georgia if for example, if Kirby Smart gets fired.
No, that would be silly, sir. I'm a Georgia fan, not a Kirby Smart fan.
I know.
Right.
I know.
Right.
But anyway, I had to say this. Well, if I want to. Hey, Lou, guess what?
Unless it's your height, your weight, or your age, I'm not good at guessing.
not that. I was gonna tell you that in chat. I'm gonna be on the game day virtual.
Stop it.
Whatever it is.
Stop it right now.
No, I am.
Now, how did you pull this off?
I signed up on College Game Day, and they said to wait until the day that they will invite you to a certain date you come on. So I'm not joking.
And so what date is it?
I tweeted on Saturday, I think.
This coming Saturday.
Yes.
When College Game Day is in Uncle Lou's hometown.
Yes.
Well, this is amazing. Now, what are you gonna do when they put you on camera?
Well, not on camera, but you mean like camera, but by the fans or the guest picker?
Wouldn't that? You're not the guest picker. Stop it.
No, I'm not.
You said you're going to be on the virtual fan thing where they show the different fans on TV, no? Isn't that what you said or no?
Yes.
Yeah.
I didn't mean the...
So I'm saying, what are you going to do? I'm asking, what are you going to do when they put you on camera?
Maybe my mom make a assignment for she's a really good scrapbooker.
Now, what kind of sign are you going to... but what kind of sign are you going to make, though?
Maybe... make Michigan great again.
That's a good idea. How about can we get a hashtag LouTube sign?
Yes, I'll do that.
Maybe whatever you said about Michigan. What'd you say about Fire Harbaugh? Is that what you said? What'd you say?
Harbaugh.
Yeah, maybe that on one side, and then on the other side, hashtag LouTube.
Yes.
Oh, okay. That would be great. Now, there's been LouTube signs on game day before.
Oh, they have?
Yep. There's been a LouTube sign at the College Baseball World Series, and there's been a LouTube sign at a Braves game that have all gotten onto TV. So, sir, anyway, that is cool though that they're going to put you on though. Seriously, Nate, that's amazing. That's cool.
Yeah, I just want to let you know to tell you that. And
now you got to record it. You're gonna record it. I'm gonna record it. I'm gonna record it, and then I'm gonna play it on here next week.
I'm gonna record it.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, this week.
Yeah, you're basically famous now. You're basically famous now, sir.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Finally, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, I'll go because I don't want to get any people backed up. So I just want to let you know that.
Thank you, Nate. I'll be looking for you on Saturday morning on College Game Day, sir. Yeah, y'all look for Nate this Saturday morning on College Game Day. Good morning, y'all. With Uncle Lou. Sorry.
You're good. Watch out for that Rona, Uncle Lou.
What?
I said, watch out for that Rona.
Oh yeah. There's no Rona. There's no Rona in my she shed. I'm good.
Okay, good. All right, this is a Clemson Tigers fan, man.
Yes, it is. Good morning.
Yep, yeah. I guess it is. It's been a couple of days since the loss, so first one in a first regular season win in a hot minute. But
yes.
You know, it is what it is. I'm still a Tiger to the day I die. So.
Right.
I don't know. I want to get a couple of thoughts on the game from you. What do you think? So you said I watched your top 10 video, of course, and your season is over video. You said that you think Clemson would beat Notre Dame if they played again. You think so?
If they were playing tomorrow,
with all the injuries
if they were playing tomorrow, I would pick Notre Dame. I would pick Clemson again. Yeah.
Well, I would say that, but at the same time, like I don't know if I would say that. I think we definitely could. We just got to get healthy, I think, first. We're missing the three starters that you mentioned.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's the
Jr.
point. Yeah, that's the point. And even without all of those three starters, y'all made some of the dumbest mistakes at the end of that game in the history of football, and the odds of that happening again are pretty slim. So, if even with the injuries you have, if y'all were playing tomorrow, I would still take Clemson to win. Nothing against Notre Dame, like I've said every time I've mentioned this. That's a big win for Notre Dame. I'm not taking anything away from Notre Dame. Listen. Halfway through a college football season, everyone always has players injured. Maybe it's a key player like Trevor Lawrence. Maybe it's a backup, whatever. But everybody has injuries week 5, 6, 7, 8. Half Georgia's defense was out. Our top 3 wide receivers were out against Florida. Does that mean we didn't lose? No, we still lost. Injuries are injuries. They had to play the second half without their best player, Kyle Pitts. I mean, injuries happen. So I'm not taking anything away from Notre Dame. It was a big win for Notre Dame, and I'm happy for the Notre Dame fans. But I would pick Clemson if they played tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, when you play, we got all we need is a first down with 2 minutes left. When you play not to lose, you're going to lose.
Yeah, it's on Dabo. It's on Dabo, and
you got to play to win.
Yeah,
so.
Dabo and Travis
and
Etienne lost you that
Elliott,
game.
I mean, I don't know. Tony Elliott's play calling was pretty rough that whole game. I'm not, not excuses. Notre Dame blew us off the line of scrimmage all game long on both sides of the ball. So it was like we blitz and we wouldn't get pressure. And then we just send 4 or 3, and we'd actually get a little bit of pressure. It was insane. I've never seen that in my whole life. But that kind of got me thinking. That was probably one of the most, just with the referees and the injuries. It seemed like every time I looked up, another Clemson player was getting injured. The play calling was wrong. Probably just one of the most frustrating. It was a great game, don't get me wrong, but definitely a frustrating game.
Yeah.
Throughout the night, and I was wondering. You got any games from memory that other than the Carolina game from last year? I know that one probably be up there, but like something maybe 10, 15 years ago, you can think of a game so frustrating and aggravating that you just almost turned off your TV because you're just, everything that could have went wrong for Georgia.
Yeah, well, 2002, Terrence Edwards dropped a touchdown pass that would have beat Florida and put us in the national championship game. That was pretty heartbreaking.
Okay. All right. You got any more?
Sir,
Maybe let's keep it around that area if you don't mind.
I'm a Georgia fan, sir. I can sit here all night and talk about heartbreaking losses if you want to.
I don't know. I'm kind of in the mood to just hear some, you got the highs, but you also got the lows of college football. And when you got the lows, that makes the highs so much better.
2012 Alabama, 2017 Alabama, 2018 Alabama, 2020 Alabama, 2008 Alabama, 2011 LSU or 13, whatever. Had a lead against LSU and blew that in the second half. Every game ever played from 1988 to 1996. The bowl game in 1981 that cost us a national championship game. I literally can do this all night. I'm a Georgia fan. We're riddled with heartbreaking losses. I'd rather keep this focused on Clemson's loss.
Yeah, I see. And that was the thing. It was really cool to see. The reason I came up with this question is because it was cool to hear my dad and my cousin. I watch it at my cousin's house. We kind of grill and stuff like that. And he was just talking about all these plays, how he was here for a Hail Mary for USC and Cal, and just all these awesome games that they were there. They watched it, and the one where Stanford's band was on the field and they returned it, and just all those plays and stuff like that. He said he remembers watching them, and he named off all these plays of apparently Georgia Tech. We snapped it over the punter's head, and Calvin Johnson made the crazy catch. He was watching, and it's really cool to just hear him kind of talk about all these really cool, just historic plays that they've been a part of and they've been actually watching. So yeah. I didn't know if you had any actual really cool ones you could think of yourself.
Other than the 15 or 20 that I named, no.
I got you. Yeah. All right, then. All right. Well, I just wanted to call in, let you know I'm still alive and running.
Yeah. Y'all don't have anything. Y'all don't have anything to worry about. You'll get another chance at them in the ACC title game, and I don't have any doubt that you'll beat them. But thank you for the call, sir. It was good to hear from you. Bluegrass Sports Media. Thank you for hitting that super chat, sir. He says, "What low has Clemson had in 8 years?" Well, Deshaun Watson getting his ass beat in his first game by Georgia in 2015, which had to be pretty low for the Tater. Getting humiliated by South Carolina for like 5 years in a row during Dabo's first 4 or 5 years in Clemson had to be pretty low. What else had to be pretty low? Kelly Bryant getting the bejesus beat out of him in round 1 of the playoffs by Alabama had to be pretty low. Losing on the road on a Friday night to the Fruit had to be pretty low 2-3 years ago. Losing to Pitt had to be pretty low a couple of years ago. What else? Oh, getting ran out of the building by the Corn Dog last year in the national title game had to be pretty low. Yeah. RB Smata, thank you for hitting the super chat, sir. He says, your T-shirt is all white, Lou. Nothing gets past you, sir. You've done it again. You figured it out. You've cracked the code. You have an amazing grasp of the obvious, Mr. Smata. Thank you for the super chat, sir. I appreciate that. You're good people. Yeah, you are. You are. Y'all hanging in there? Chat section. Okay, good. Good. Hang tight, my brother. Yeah, good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou.
Good morning, Uncle Lou. This is Edward. How you doing on this awesome Tuesday evening?
Edward, I couldn't be doing any better, sir. It was physically impossible.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to say I like that. I love that video you did where you were ranting about Auburn and how they were complaining about their schedule. I thought that was beautiful.
Oh, yeah, that Auburn cries nonstop. It's what they do. Sort of.
Yeah, because they're crybabies.
They are crybabies. Yeah, that's confirmed. That is confirmed.
Mm-hmm.
Indeed
Confirmed,
it is,
yes. I do have a few questions I'd like to ask. The first one is what did you think of the Michigan versus Indiana game? Let's go ahead and answer that one.
It didn't really surprise me that Indiana won, given what we saw from Michigan the week before. I was surprised it was really not even competitive, though.
Oh.
My main thing about Michigan is you can't help but feel bad for their fans because they've had some pretty good teams over the last few years, and like quarterback play has been their main issue. They've had some really good defenses in particular. And this year they got a quarterback who's putting up 300+ yards every single game, but they can't win one. So it's gotta be frustrating.
Quarterback. Yeah, it is. I agree with you on that. And what's your thoughts on the Green Bay Packers?
I think they're good. I mean, anytime you got Aaron Rodgers back there, you're going to have a chance. I think they're one of the best 2 or 3 teams in the NFC. I'm not an NFL expert by any means. I watch a little bit here and there, but I think the Packers are pretty good.
I totally understand that one. And sorry, trying to clear my throat. Sorry. My final question is what did you think of the Liberty Flames against the Virginia Tech Hokies game?
Well, if you listen to Uncle Lou every day like you're supposed to, then you bet Liberty on the money line and made a killing. I picked Liberty to win that game all week. They were a 15-point underdog for no reason at all. You want to hear something else weird? Here. Normally, I save this for the Lunch Money show so that you guys will watch that. But the Miami Hurricanes are a 2-point underdog. Either an underdog. I think are they a 2-point? Miami's a damn 2. Hold on, what the? How in the hell? Wait a minute. The Miami Hurricanes are a 2-point underdog this week to the same Virginia Tech team that just got beat by Liberty. So I'm not telling anybody what to do, but if I was anybody, I would go to www.betnow.eu. I would sign up for an account. I would enter Uncle Lou as the promo code, and I would put $5 or $6 on Miami. This makes no sense. Miami's an underdog to Virginia Tech. Makes no sense.
Yep. Totally agree. All right, well, thank you, Uncle Lou, for having me on your show, and I love your show a lot, man, and keep on doing what you're doing.
All right, Edward, good to hear from you, sir. We'll talk to you again next time, I'm sure. Moving right along, though, also in 2. Good morning, you're on with Uncle Lou.
The man of Georgia.
What's up, buddy?
How you doing, sir, Uncle Lou?
Doing great.
Uncle Lou, I'm going to tell you something as a Florida State fan.
Uh-oh, okay.
I totally agree with you. I'll tell you this. I'm a Florida State fan, but I'm a college football fan first.
Right.
And I'll tell you this, George Pickens, Dominique Blaylock, those guys, if I were them, I would transfer somewhere else.
No
Nothing
doubt.
personal against UGA, but I would
agree.
transfer somewhere else where I can use my talents.
Yep.
Everybody's complaining about everybody's talking about what's happened with George Pickens and this, that, and the other. I'm like, well, what do you expect? He has no quarterback.
Right.
George Pickens had to suffer through Jake Fromm last year. Now he's suffering with someone who's even worse than Jake Fromm, which is Stetson Bennett. I mean, I don't care if you're Jerry Rice or Michael Irvin. Those guys couldn't put up great numbers with the quarterbacks that Georgia has had. No way.
Oh no, you're exactly right. And I'll give you an example of this. That's great that we get guys like George Pickens, Don Blaylock, Miko Hartman. I could name 4 or 5 or 6 really highly rated wide receivers that we've got. Elijah Moore was committed to UGA. Now, no team ever admits this, but we processed him out. In other words, we gave his scholarship to somebody else. We didn't think he was good enough. Now, he's at Ole Miss going for 200 yards a game every game. George Pickens, all these people. George Pickens has 130 yards all season. So
that's pathetic.
So that's to your point. These players, I don't think, offensively especially, and to be honest, defensively too, for a different reason, but I don't think Georgia's going to be able to continue to get these wide receivers if they're going to be putting up 3 and 4. Our leading receiver last year had 500-something yards. I mean, I don't know how many people are aware of this. A 5-star, all that means is that there are 32 5-stars a year. Those are the 32 players that are projected to be first-round draft picks in 4 years. There's 32 NFL teams. There's 32 5-stars a year. If Georgia doesn't start putting some of these 5-stars not only into the NFL, but in the first round, they're not going to get them anymore. And that goes for defense too. But anyway,
yes, Well, I'll tell you this. It goes back to what you were saying before. Remember that guy out of Marietta, Georgia, named Gilbert something, one of the most coveted tight ends in America.
Eric Gilbert. He never even considered Georgia for the exact reason you're talking about. He never even considered UGA, ever.
Well, Luke said he wasn't going to be used. He already saw the offensive system. He said that he said all he was going to be was a de facto blocker for the running back on the Kirby system.
Yeah. Now we got the second tight end by some miracle, Darnell Washington. But see, the gap between Eric Gilbert and Darnell Washington, even though they were both 5-stars, the gap is huge. Eric Gilbert was basically an NFL player his senior year in high school. He's that game ready. Darnell Washington is not that game ready. Now, Darnell Washington can still be really good, but Eric Gilbert was ready day one, not Darnell Washington. And that's the thing. We're missing out on the top flight guys at wide receiver. And even the good ones that we're getting can't put up any numbers. I couldn't agree more with what you're saying.
Well, sir, I'll get out. I'm not going to keep you long, but just one more thing. I think what Georgia does is Georgia gets 5-star, and they put so much in their defense. They put so much in their running game, 4-star, 5-star running backs and offensive linemen. What they do is they do all of that, and they recruit so hard in order to make up and overcome horrible quarterback play, and they still haven't learned that that's just simply not going to work.
No, I agree.
Lou, in the NFL, college football, and even high school football, it's dynamic quarterbacks and dynamic offenses that's winning games. And I'll tell you this, and I'll let you go. I think Florida could have scored more points on Georgia. Florida was being merciful to Georgia.
Well, they almost became merciful to the point of costing themselves the game. Dan Mullen did a terrible job calling the second half of that game. Stuff like that's going to cost Florida.
They almost gave that game back to Georgia, and if they do that against Alabama, they will lose.
If Mark Webb intercepts that ball in the fourth quarter and takes it to the house, it's a 6-point game halfway through the fourth quarter, and it should not have been because Florida dominated us. But Dan Mullen screwed around in the second half, and then Kyle Trask threw the ball right to Mark Webb. It hit him in the damn belly button, and there was nothing between him and the goal line but 30 yards of grass and opportunity. But he dropped the damn ball. It was a 13-point game at that time. That would have made it a 6-point game. I mean, Dan Mullen botched that second half big time. And trust me, I have a lot of experience in this matter. That will come back to bite you at the most inopportune time. For example, when Florida plays Alabama in the SEC championship game and they come out there and don't do shit in the second half or something like. You can't do that. You got to score 100 points if you can. Period. Every week.
Well, you know, Lou, and I'll leave you with this. What do you think about what I just said? That Georgia basically they recruit 4-star, 5-star studs on defense, at running back position, the offensive line, all of that just to make up for an average or below average quarterback play. What do you think about that?
Well, I mean, I guess I sort of understand what you're saying, but how many other teams in America have had 3 5-star quarterbacks in the last 4 years? Not very many. Georgia's recruited and signed 3 5-star quarterbacks.
And Lou, I believe that even Jake Fromm, as horrible as he was on any other team, I think he would have done way better than he did at Georgia. It's something about UGA.
Yeah.
When they put that G on their helmet and they put that helmet on, even Justin Fields, like you said before, as much of a star as he is, he looked terrible.
Yeah. No, I agree.
And I believe that even Jake Fromm would do. I believe that even Jake Fromm would have done better at another school. It's something about Georgia and Kirby's system.
Yeah.
I think now's the time to start pointing the finger at Kirby.
Oh yeah, I've been at that point. Hey, thank you for the call. It was good to hear from you, sir. We got Sean Miller. Thank you for hitting the super chat, sir. I sure appreciate that. Don't forget you can leave a message along with your super chat, and I'd be happy to read it. You don't have to. Just want to make sure you know that you can. Gators fan, Panama City Beach says, "I own you. FSU is so bad, they will beat Clemson." Sippy's sports show is drooling on his keyboard. I think you might need to give your mom the debit card back. I don't know how you're super chatting. I appreciate it though. But if you get grounded, I don't want your mom calling. Don't have your mom call me and ask for this $4 back. It's not happening. It's not happening. Thank you. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou. Boy, that was an epic fail. I don't even know what you're trying to do there. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou.
Oh, good morning, Uncle Lou. How you doing?
I'm doing great, sir.
Hey, so Florida fan, obviously. Great game this weekend. It was nice to have a win for the first time since feels like forever. But just want to get your opinion on a couple of things. What's your opinion on a non-Power 5 team making the playoffs this year?
I don't think it's happening ever under any circumstances until the playoffs expand to 8 teams. Yeah.
Oh man, what are your odds to think that Florida has a chance against Alabama?
Yeah, Florida's got I mean that type of offense in today's college football can compete with anybody. Look, I mean, Ole Miss is not a good team.
No, it's not the offense.
Right?
The defense is the problem.
Right. What I mean is Ole Miss is not a very good team. They can compete with Alabama. They competed with you. So, yes, you can compete with Alabama. I'll be honest, I've watched Georgia play both of y'all. I said this the other day. I would pick Alabama to win. I think they're a more complete team. You mentioned your defense. I like Najee Harris running the ball. Now, y'all's running backs are amazing out of the backfield, catching the ball, no doubt about it. But as far as running the ball, I like Najee Harris better than anything y'all have running the ball. But Florida I've heard a lot of people say Florida ain't got no chance against Bama. Anybody with an offense like Florida's got a chance against anybody. I mean, y'all can score with anybody. So, I think you have a chance. I would probably pick Bama if the game were being played right now, but I think you definitely have a chance.
I'll say this. I mean, I respect you. I love Georgia. I mean, you guys are good every year. But you're my favorite YouTuber, and I appreciate you taking my call.
Hey, I appreciate the kind words. Yeah, congratulations on the win, and good luck the rest of the season. I don't think you'll need much luck until you get to that Bama game. That's going to be a tough one. Another thing you got to remember too, Bama's roster is full of players who've played in these type games before. There's not a single player on Florida's team who's played in this game, so that's another benefit I think for Bama experience in a big game like that. Good morning, you're on with Uncle Lou.
Hello,
How's it going? It's Michael McClintock here, Gator fan.
Mr. McClintock, what's up, buddy? Good to hear from you.
It's good to hear from you, too. Clemson screwed me twice Saturday, didn't they? I had that bet with you, and then I had them at the end of my 3-game parlay that would have won me damn near $300.
I'll be damned. Yeah, they got me, too. Yeah. They sure did.
Man, I had Florida on the money line, and then I also had Pittsburgh on the money line, and they ended up beating the crap out of Florida State.
Yeah, they did. Florida State's a damn disgrace, ain't they? My God.
Oh, yeah. I know. I love seeing that, though.
Who's worse? Who do you think's worse, Florida State or Tennessee?
As much as I hate to say it, it's going to be Florida State.
I think so, too. If they played tomorrow, that's an interesting comment section. Let me know. If Florida State and Tennessee were playing tomorrow on a neutral field, who would you take? Anyway, what's on your mind tonight, Mr. McClintock?
I just wanted to let you. I was talking about something. Dan Mullen obviously seen something on film about wheel routes. I've never seen a team not cover the wheel route the entire game.
And over and over. And, I mean, y'all lined up in a bunch of different formations and sent a bunch of different people in motion different ways. But like you said, it was basically the same wheel route out of the backfield over and over and over. Now, some of it was the fact that our linebackers just couldn't run with your running backs. You know, not all of it was blown. Now, there was some blown coverages. There were some where the running back caught the ball and there was nobody within 20 yards. There was some, like the one down the left-hand sideline where Nakobe Dean made the shoestring tackle to save the touchdown. I mean, Nakobe Dean played that play right, and he's a great linebacker. He just can't run with that guy. I mean, you know, what do you do there? You're just getting outran. I mean, you know, it is what it is. But yeah, that was frustrating.
He just trash dropped it in the bucket.
To be honest, it was the wheel routes and it was those crossing routes over the middle where one wide receiver would sort of rub. It's not a pick play because all teams do this. You run multiple crossing routes to try to get the defenders to run into each other, and it just kept working over and over and over and over. And I was just like, my God, that was frustrating to watch. That was more frustrating really than losing the game. Was it really seemed like a bunch of different variations of the same two plays, a wheel route to a running back up one of the sidelines and these crossing routes, and we just could not figure it out all day. It was frustrating to watch.
Was that more frustrating than Stetson and Mathis missing open receivers down the field?
That was frustrating, but unfortunately I'm almost used to that. You know, I didn't expect either one of them to come out and light it up. Now, I didn't expect they would be that bad. 9 of 29. I mean, and I know Stetson and Juan aren't great, but look around college football. You can watch literally any team in America almost. They can complete more than 9 out of 29. Army runs the triple option and throws the ball twice a game. If Army lined up this weekend and threw 29 passes, they would complete more than 9. Like, you almost have to be trying to be bad to go 9 of 29. I mean, that's pitiful. That was Georgia's lowest completion percentage in like 50 years. It was awful.
That's embarrassing.
Yeah, it was bad.
And I just want to say something about. I actually think I saw a little. He missed some throws. He did some ill-advised things there in the second half. But give Mathis some time. There's talent there.
Well, I've been making
He's had no time to prepare.
Yeah, I've been making this point to some Georgia fans over the last couple of days. I'm not saying that Mathis even outplayed Bennett. That's not what I'm saying. What I am saying is this season is over for Georgia. You better start looking towards next year. And there is no scenario where Stetson Bennett is Georgia's quarterback next year. Now, it could be that it's not DeJuan Mathis either, but the point is, Stetson Bennett hit his ceiling the minute he came into the game against Arkansas. He's never going to get any better than he is. He's just not. He is what he is. DeJuan might not get any better, but he might. Like you said, he's only played in 2 games, Arkansas and now the Florida game. He was out for a year with the brain surgery. There's potential for him to improve, and he's got the athletic ability. He can throw the ball 80 yards, and he can run around. So if he can learn how to do the other things, like be accurate with the ball, checks at the line of scrimmage, that kind of thing, he's at least got the potential to get better. Will it happen? I don't know. But he's at least got the potential to do it. But Stetson Bennett, in my opinion, there's no reason for him to take another snap this entire year. I would rather lose our next 4 games and work on developing the other 3 QBs on the roster than to come out here and win these games 14-10 with Stetson Bennett completing 9 of 16 passes for 80 yards. I mean, it's just that's not accomplishing anything at this point.
Right, I totally agree. I'd come out this game and literally I'd have Mathis start, and if something goes wrong with Mathis, JT at least needs to show what he can do. And if you have to go back to Bennett, if he's technically the best quarterback on the roster, if you have to go back to it, you always can.
Yeah, well, I don't
can do.
I don't think he's going to play at all this week. He's got that shoulder injury. I think it's going to be you might see all three of the other guys. You might see Carson Beck, Dwan Mathis, and JT Daniels this weekend. That's why I really hope this Georgia game doesn't get canceled. Because right now Stetson is injured.
Yeah, everything else is.
I'm afraid if this game gets canceled, Stetson will get healthy, and Kirby will do something stupid like play him, and then we'll never get to see Carson Beck or JT Daniels. I want to see some combination or all three of DeJuan, Carson Beck, and JT Daniels this weekend. And I honestly don't care if we lose. Now I don't expect to lose, and I never want us to lose. But at this point of the season, I would rather lose with JT Daniels than win with Stetson Bennett. I honestly would. I want to see what JT Daniels can do. And what are people going to say if we put JT Daniels in the game and he goes 17 of 22 for 260 yards and 3 touchdowns? Well, Kirby better just dodge the post-game press conference because, what the hell? You had this guy sitting on the bench all year?
There will be no post-game press conference.
Yeah. So, I don't know. We'll see.
I mean, it's kind of like It's kind of like Trask sitting behind Felipe all that time.
Well, that's sort of that. Well, I see what you're saying, but now, as bad as Felipe Franks was, he was better than anything Georgia's put on the field this year.
Exactly
at the quarterback position.
He had God-given talent. Dude, that's one of the strongest arms I've ever seen.
Yeah. He's clearly not as good as Kyle Trask, and we figured that out real quick in that Kentucky game when Kyle Trask came in. But it's not like Felipe Franks was out there going 9 of 29.
Yeah, I think the problem with Felipe's problem was between the ears.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, it could be.
I think that's always what his problem was. He didn't have the mindset or anything.
Yeah.
And then you saw it in games like when he was getting like criticized by the crowd, and then like the next game he'd have a good game. He'd like throw the finger to the crowd.
Oh,
and everything.
Yeah, shushing his own crowd. I remember that. Yep, at a home game, he scored a touchdown, or threw a touchdown pass, and ran into the end zone and put his finger over his mouth. You usually do that when you're the visiting team. You look up in the crowd and you give him the shush thing. He was doing it to his own fans. Troll level 1 million.
All right, Uncle Lou. Always love your show. I'll stay in the comment section. You have a good night, man.
All right, buddy. Congrats on the win again, and we'll talk to you again soon, I'm sure. All right. See what they're talking about here. Evan Visciani. Not sure if I said that right. Thank you for the whatever that is, the fan finger or whatever that is. Thank you, sir. Appreciate your support in the show. A couple of super chats there. Thank you, sir. You're good people. All right, let's get back to these phones. See what they're talking about. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lulo, also in 2.
Hey, what's going on? This is Mississippi Sports Show here, baby.
What's up, buddy?
Man, look, is Southern Miss going to hire Rhett Lashley or Kane Womack or possibly Casey Dunn? I don't know, man. But let me tell you something. Southern Miss is coming. We're on the come up. And Frank Gore Jr. might just win the Heisman this year, bro. What you think?
0 chance Frank Gore wins the Heisman. Not happening. Less than 0, actually, if that's even a thing. As far as who they're hiring, I don't know. Rhett Lashley, is he the guy? Where's he at? Is he the guy at Miami?
Yes, sir. The Miami offensive coordinator.
Yeah. Miami would hate that. I think they like. I don't know how Miami fans would feel about that or not. To be honest, I have no clue. Now, if Southern Miss is so good, why are they looking? If Southern Miss is so good, why are they looking to hire a new head coach? Wonder.
Oh man, look, man.
Didn't they fire their head coach?
Game of the season,
yeah, didn't they fire their head coach after week 1? Yeah.
Yes, sir. They fired their head coach week 1, and then Scotty Walden was in the interim, and then they basically told him they weren't going to hire him.
Right.
And then he booked it and took the Austin P job.
Mm.
So now we're on our 3rd head coach of the season, and like, man, it's been bad over there. It's a dumpster fire, man.
Next year's the year, though, you say?
Oh yeah. Next year we're gonna get in one of these big name young coaches and give him his first head coaching job. I'm pretty sure Frank Gore Jr. is gonna win the freaking Heisman.
Right.
What do you think? You think West Kentucky? Do you think we can beat West Kentucky this weekend, man?
Haven't been impressed with Western Kentucky this year. They used to have a pretty good offense, but not so much anymore. I was betting on them the first couple of weeks of the season, but they disappointed me, so they're not getting any more of my money. I'll give you a 50-50 shot against Western Kentucky. How about that?
Hey, I appreciate that. Yeah, they're usually really good in the Conference USA at least, and they've never lost to Southern Miss. They beat us 3 times that we've played them, and man, it's been bad, man. They have our number, but this year they're 2-6, we're 2-5, so maybe we can go up there and get our first win over that program.
Maybe.
Hey, without no guidance, man, maybe.
Yeah.
But I really do appreciate it, man. Yeah, I started a little YouTube show just talking and ranting. I get drunk and talk Southern Miss football, man.
That sounds like a good idea, actually.
I appreciate you having me on, man.
Yes,
really
sir.
Cool.
Good to hear from you.
All right, man.
All right, take it easy.
Yes, sir. Thanks.
Southern Miss fan, man. Man, I don't know how this happened. Dumb luck, probably. We've been able to get fans from all over around here. Still need more Pac-12 fans, though. Tell your friends. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou.
What's going on, Lou? How you been, man?
Good. How are you, sir?
Doing well, man. This is Rashad calling you from Alabama.
Yes, sir.
Want to go over 2 quick things with you real quick, man. It might make some of the lower schools upset. You know what I mean? I played the HBCU here, so I have love for the smaller school. But I got to be honest, man. I don't think schools like that deserve to be in the playoffs, man. Because I understand going undefeated is hard, and I know that personally. Going undefeated is difficult on any level. But it's something to be said about, man. It's just something to be said when I don't understand how you speak loud with Tulane and FIU and UConn and Temple and Tulsa and East Carolina. Like, this is your normal schedule. You get through that. I just have a problem with a school that I could put Kentucky in the same conference, and they possibly may win 9 of those games.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I have a problem with that, man. I don't understand how you think you deserve to be in the playoff with these schools who playing Georgia, who playing Florida, who playing Bama, week to week, getting beat up, getting broke up. I don't understand how you feel you deserve that, man. I understand. I respect your schedule and I respect winning, but I feel some kind of way about that.
I agree with you.
And
let me just make a point on that real quick, because I like to use UCF as an example here, because that's the team that a lot of people point to from 2017. Oh, they beat Auburn. Yes, they beat Auburn.
Yeah, I remember that.
They beat Auburn with a month to prepare. And I'm not taking anything away from Central Florida, but if Central Florida that year had to play Auburn, and then the next week had to play at Mississippi State, and then the next week had to play home against LSU, and then the week after that had to play at Tennessee. I mean, and I've put Cincinnati's schedule this year up on the screen because they're the highest ranked group of 5 team right now. Austin P, Army, USF, SMU, Memphis, Temple, Houston, East Carolina, Temple, Tulsa. I mean, this just it's just not the same. Now, that doesn't mean that one of these teams, given a month to prepare, can't compete with a top 5, 6, 7 team. It doesn't mean that, but I agree. But I agree with the premise of what you're saying. Now, if they do go to an 8-team playoff, which I think they will when the TV contracts renew in 2023, I'm okay with them putting in the highest ranked, like this year's Cincinnati. Give them the 8 seed.
Yeah, you'll almost have to at that point.
I would be okay with that. I would be okay with that. But right now, when it's just 4 teams, I mean, let's be real. The playoff games right now aren't even competitive. We've had 12 playoff games, and only 2 of them have been 1-score games. The other 10 have been blowouts.
Exactly.
Georgia versus Oklahoma was good, and last year's Clemson-Ohio State was good. Every other playoff game that's been played has been a blowout. So if number 4 can't compete with number 1 in a playoff scenario, what makes anybody think Cincinnati or Boise State or SMU or Central Florida or whatever is going to beat Clemson and LSU in back-to-back weeks? It's not going to happen.
It's too much for them, man. It's too much. I know how it is when you're limited on scholarships. And let me say this real quick. I was real upset at first about the LSU game being postponed, but I started thinking big picture. Greg Sankey, that guy deserves a lot of credit, man, because I'm going to tell you what I started thinking about. If anyone is paying attention, and I know you have, the media is sweet on Ohio State, man. And I understand they're good and all that, this, that, and the third, but Lou, you got to be real. If this was an SEC school, they've played 3 teams with a combined winning of 1 win.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Penn State is what, 0-3?
Mm-hmm.
You know, Nebraska's 0-2. They sweet on Ohio State as usual. I understand it's a pandemic year. You want to get your bigger teams in with the bigger fan bases, and I get it. But here's my thing. If that's the case, we've been playing. Look, take Georgia. Look no further than Georgia. This is a team that had a rough front-loaded schedule. Look at Georgia now. They just like Alabama was last year, down to their 3rd and 4th string people playing in the SEC back to back to back. But you get to come play for 5 games, 6 games, maybe 7, maybe, and against teams that just aren't very good so far this year. And you're going to tell me that that's fair? Okay, cool, right? So Sankey is like, okay, why are we going to press forward and play this LSU game? They got some COVID cases. Let's just go ahead and cancel a couple of games with the top teams. Let's just cancel. Let's cancel them because let's slide a little extra break in there for us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It sucks as a fan, but I can see where he's not pressed to fight to play these games. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, that's a point I hadn't really thought of, but I mean, it's a fair point. It's a fair point. Now, I have to push back a little. I've watched all of 2 of Ohio State's games. They look like one of the best 4 teams to me. Now I know they haven't played the best teams yet. I know they play less games. I get all that. But if you take Ohio State out of the picture, who are the best 4 teams? It becomes hard to figure out to me. I mean, let's say you got Clemson, Alabama, Notre Dame. Without Ohio State, who's 4th? Some are going to say Florida. Okay, Florida lost to Texas A&M, and they have the same record. So why not Texas A&M at 4? And then I start asking myself, what would happen if Florida or Texas A&M played Ohio State? It would be a good game. But I just think it's early. They've only played 3 games, and Ohio State's got some issues. Yeah. I don't think it's a guarantee they're going to go undefeated, even against their schedule. They've got some issues that could bite them if they don't. Look, if Justin Fields has a bad day against anybody, Ohio State can be beat because they don't have a running game outside of him. The running backs have been disappointing, and their defense has been they missed Chase Young, and they've got some issues in the secondary, and that's going to hurt them when they have to play somebody like Florida, Bama, Clemson, one of these teams that can sling the ball around. Their secondary is suspect. So don't know that I would pick them to win the national title right now, but what I've seen from them so far, they're a legitimate team. The points you're making are valid, but they're a legitimate team. I think they're a top 4, top 5 team.
I want to see them a little more. I was not impressed with their secondary, man. Also, I heard you guys may possibly be starting JT Daniels this week. What's up. Kirby finally got over the hump, man.
Well, we'll
only
see.
About 4 weeks too late.
Yeah, we'll see. Stetson Bennett is dislocated or has an AC sprain or whatever, and probably can't play this week. So Kirby's hand's kind of being forced here. So I have a feeling we might see all 3 of the other QBs, Daniels, DeWine, and even maybe Carson Beck. You got to do something at this point.
JT is about to go out there and throw for 345, 3 touchdowns, and no picks, and everybody's mouth gonna hit the ground.
I'm gonna listen.
Watch.
I won't. I will. I'm gonna go insane if that happens. I am gonna yell and scream, and oh my God, because how. I don't even want to think about it. But you're trotting Stetson Bennett out there, and you've had this sitting on the sideline for 2 months. What in the world are you doing? I mean, there's going to be a lot of questions if JT Daniels plays well. I would expect Kirby in that situation to say it was his knee. That's what I would expect Kirby to do. We were afraid to play him early because the knee thing. I would expect him to say that to try to get himself out from under that hole he would be in. But that would be interesting.
I hope he do well, man. I hope he do well, and I hope these guys, continue to do their thing. Lou, I appreciate you taking my call, brother.
All right, Rashad, good to talk to you, buddy. Good luck the rest of the way. You're an Alabama fan, so you don't necessarily need any luck. God's on your side. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou. It's you. Good morning. Go. John, LSU, it says. Corn Dog Man. Good morning.
Oh, yo, what's up, Uncle Lou? How's it going?
It's going great.
Hey, I know Rashawn said he was a little disappointed, but he better be happy. We'd have been 2 years in a row would have whipped that ass.
Sir.
But, hey, in all seriousness.
Stop it right now.
I know. No, I'm joking. In all seriousness, do you think there's any way we upset Arkansas or Ole Miss on the back end and get another win?
Can you believe we're sitting here talking about if LSU has a chance to upset Arkansas? My God, man. Listen, I spent a lot of time this offseason being hard on LSU, with the whole I just don't think they can replicate what they did last year, lost too much, blah, blah, blah. I didn't see this coming. And this has been frustrating to watch, even as somebody who's not an LSU fan. Hard to understand how they fell off this much. But COVID year, you lost a lot. It is what it is. Luckily, y'all won the Natty last year, so you kind of got that, you can lean on that. For one down year maybe,
sure.
But the fans are going to expect a lot more next year, I'm sure.
Oh, no doubt. I expected the offense to take a little step back, but the defense has just been pathetic. I mean, it's that Mizzou game. I mean, down at the end there, which I don't know. Towards the end of that game, I really didn't even give it. Really didn't care if we won, just because I was so frustrated. We played so bad the whole time, and then. But I will say it is kind of frustrating. I wish we had Georgia on the schedule again, because if there's one thing that's a guarantee, it's Edo's going to beat Kirby by about 20 every time.
I'd love to have LSU on the schedule this year, too, so we can finally beat them. Y'all are a hot damn mess.
For sure. I know. But, hey, I appreciate you taking my call, Uncle Lou. I'm a pretty new listener to the show, but I like it a lot, and keep it up.
Yeah, I'm glad you found the channel. Thanks for calling in. Glad you enjoy it. And good luck to your LSU Tigers the rest of the way. Disappointing year for LSU. They won the Natty last year, though. So, I mean, it's not like, they're okay to have one bad year. But the expectations will be much higher next year for LSU. I'm sure. No doubt about it. Alec Dickey, thank you for the super chat, sir. I appreciate that. You're good people. He says, whose seat is hotter, Muschamp or Jeremy Pruitt? Muschamp. Pruitt's seat not hot at all. Pruitt's not going anywhere. He's not going anywhere. Tennessee's still paying Butch Jones. They're not firing Pruitt. It's just not happening. It's been a disappointing year for Tennessee, no doubt about it. They're not firing Jeremy Pruitt. They just hired him 3 years ago, and he was the ninth. 8 people turned the job down. And it's a worse job now than it was 3 years ago. If they fire Jeremy Pruitt, I don't know who would take that job. And I'm not trolling or trash talking. And Tennessee fans know this is true. Okay? They're not firing Jeremy Pruitt. He will be back next year. Muschamp, he might not be back next year. There was a lot of rumors, a lot of smoke already this week about meetings with the administration and some boosters. And you know who they hired as offensive coordinator in the offseason, right? A guy with head coaching experience, Mike Bobo. If I was South Carolina and I could afford it, I would fire Muschamp yesterday and make Bobo the head coach. That's what I would do. I don't know that that's what they're going to do, but that's what I would do. I would promote Bobo to head coach. Not just interim either. I would make it clear, you're the guy for next year too. That's what I would do. Then you don't have to go through the embarrassment of having a coaching search and having people turn your job down and all that kind of stuff. I would offer it to Bobo right away. I wouldn't insult him by going out and interviewing some other coaches that are just going to turn it down. And then you may end up not even getting Bobo. I would fire Muschamp and go with Bobo. And if anybody's close to getting fired right now in the SEC, it's Muschamp, not Pruitt. Pruitt will be back next year. I wouldn't hire Hugh Freeze. If you hire Hugh Freeze, you get Hugh Freeze, and you get an army of NCAA investigators that are going to move in on your campus permanently. I wouldn't want those problems. I wouldn't want those problems at all. Hugh Freeze is well, he's a worthless human being, in my opinion. I don't have any use for Hugh Freeze at all. Nothing would make – now, if South Carolina hires him, that would be great because then Georgia can whip his ass every single year, and I would love that because I can't stand Hugh Freeze. I don't think he's got any business being a coach in the SEC. He's blackballed. We'll see if that goes away, but right now he's not allowed in the SEC right now. There was about 5 teams that wanted him last year not as head coach. He's talked about this, Hugh Freeze, and he interviewed, and he felt like the teams wanted him, and then they just sort of never called him back. And the reason is he's blackballed. The commissioner wouldn't let anybody hire him last year. We'll see if that's changed, but I wouldn't want Hugh Freeze and all the negative attention that comes with him from the NCAA. They're going to be all over him. All over him. I wouldn't want that. I wouldn't want that. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou.
Shabbat Shalom, and
Oh, the king of the
favorite
Jews,
watchmaker.
Celine Driver. What's up, buddy?
that is me. Also, your favorite watch consultant.
My favorite
Forget
watch consultant. That is true. Also, my favorite. Yeah. Well, yes. All that is true.
Well, it is just now sunk in that Florida finally slayed that dragon.
Yes, they did.
It took a couple of days. I kept waking up in the morning and expecting that I fell out of the Matrix or there was a dream or something, but it finally did it. And Florida State got boat raced, so it was really a good weekend all around for me anyway.
Yeah, I'm sure you were. I'm sure you were giddy with excitement. Now, what's your stance?
I don't know about giddy. I mean,
what's your stance today? Because of course you've been the loudest with the whole fire Todd Grantham thing, and I don't think anybody believes that one game makes everything go away. And I know you don't feel that way either. But do you feel any better about Todd Grantham?
I'd be lying if I said no. A little. I did promise Slim Shady and Tiger Cat that, I promised Tiger Cat that if we won the Georgia game, I would stop with the hashtag Fire Grantham, which for some reason really irritated her. And while I don't mind irritating pretty much anyone else, I really didn't want to irritate her. So, as you notice, I've sort of dropped that. And Slim Shady said that, made me promise that if Florida won, I would make a video and post it on my channel, eating crow, as it were. And I did that. So I forgot who it was, but somebody said I should also call into the call-in show like I'm doing now and say that, okay, I'm off the Fire Grantham thing for the moment. I still don't trust him. I don't trust him. I trust him a little more than I did a few weeks ago. I mean, the Missouri game looked okay too. I'm still not particularly thrilled with his system. I think Florida could and should do better. I would like to see them bring Charlie Strong back home. I'm not a believer in inserting Grantham.
I'm not either. I mean,
there's got to be a better scheme.
Grantham had good games when he was at Georgia. It's not that he never has a good game. Yeah. It's that he has too many knucklehead games. So I get you. I get you. I mean, it's hard after a big win like that to then be critical of your. You know, it's hard to be critical of your coaches after a big win like that. But in the grand scheme of things, I understand what you're saying. He may not be a permanent solution there at defensive coordinator. Yeah.
And it's hard to be critical of my head coach for the second half of that game. But, you know, if I step back, and you know I'm really good at being objective about my Gators. I mean, it's hard sometimes, but I try to be objective sometimes. He called a very conservative second half. I think Pitts being out had something to do with it, but
what did you do?
I've been watching some videos lately of some of our past games where we were up, and I've noticed a pattern with Mullen. He seems, if you look at him on the sideline, he seems almost embarrassed to run up the score.
Yeah, not a good trait.
The body language, the expression on his face, he seems to be uncomfortable with running the score up, and I think his play calling in the Georgia game on Saturday kind of reflects that. I mean, and let's admit to ourselves, a lot of Florida fans like myself who are a little older and remember the good old days of the Lord Steve, remember 50 and 60 and 70-point games being fairly regular. And Steve didn't mind running the score up. You know, his philosophy, and I believe this is the correct philosophy, is I put my team out on the field and play the game for 60 minutes. It's up to your team to stop me.
Right. And teams develop habits.
You can't do it. I'm playing the damn game.
Teams develop habits. I mean, you know, it's great if you're good enough to be up on a team 20 or 30 points at halftime. That's amazing. But if half the season you're coasting in the second half, or more than half the season, it makes it hard to just flip a switch all of a sudden at the end of the year when you need to be good in the second half. It's hard to just flip that switch when you hadn't been doing it week in and week out. I mean, everybody knows the history Georgia has had in the second halves of big games, mainly against Alabama, but it's been some other issues too. So I'm with you. It's not about running up the score. It's about your team playing 60 minutes, like you said. I mean, that's not something you can do in practice.
Think you're right. If we pull that crap against Alabama, I'm assuming we're going to win out and get to Atlanta and face Alabama. I mean, that's the assumption everyone's making at the moment. If we pull that crap against Alabama, we're not going to win the game. I think this is not going to be a repeat of 15 and 16, where, quite frankly, we embarrassed ourselves. I mean, we had no offense. We had all the defense in the world for 3 quarters until they wore out, but we had no offense. We didn't really deserve to be on that field with them, but we earned the right to get our ass beat, basically. So,
what'd you do? What'd you do in the fourth quarter on Sat? What'd you do in the fourth quarter on Saturday when Kyle Trask threw the ball right to Mark Webb's belly button?
Screamed at my TV.
That's what I did too.
How is that?
You've seen me watch a lot of games. I'm not going to lie. I had been sitting down for about an hour straight at that point, Celine. There was just nothing for me to get excited about in that game. I was sitting down, and I saw Mark Webb jump in front of that wide receiver, and that was the first time and I jumped out of that chair, and then he dropped it, and it was like a balloon deflated. I was like, that was our one chance right there to have an opportunity to at least make this game exciting in the fourth quarter. But that just goes to show Georgia's offense was terrible. So, maybe you're comfortable sitting on that 13-point lead, and Kyle Trask is amazing, but one mistake right there, and Georgia's within 6 points. Right. And that's why you can't do that.
Felipe Franks. To me, that was a Felipe Franks moment. Thank God Trask doesn't have many of those. And, I remember that call you had about 3 or 4 back, where that guy saying Franks had nothing between the ears. I was thinking to myself, Felipe Franks to me is like a 76 Corvette, all show, no go. I mean, he's nothing. But I got 2 more quick questions for you, and I'll leave you alone. Did you get your money back from the game that got canceled? And does that mean you're not going up to Knoxville to the Tap House? You're going to be at home doing the Patreon thing.
Yeah, I'll be at home. No, I did not get my money back because the game was not canceled. It was postponed. So no.
You're going to go, I guess you can sell your tickets, man.
Yeah, I have to resell the tickets. But that's how they get you, because I bought the tickets from StubHub. So each ticket had about $40 in fees attached to it. So when I sell the tickets, too, I'll lose that money. So I'll lose about $100 having to resell those tickets.
Well, I appreciate you letting me on and letting me speak at you for a few minutes. I will say again, Shabbat Shalom as King of the Jews.
Yeah.
Have a good evening, sir.
Assalamu alaikum in that. Congrats on your win over my dogs this weekend. Up close and personal. Thank you for the super chat, sir. I appreciate that. He says Justin Fuente's seat will get hotter if Virginia Tech loses to Miami on Saturday. Yeah. And then what if they lose to Virginia again? They lost to Virginia last year for the first time in like 10 years. And here's what's weird. Fuente took that job around the same time Bronco Mendenhall took the job at Virginia, and everybody thought the same thing. Fuente's the better coach. He had just turned Memphis around. He had that offense at Memphis that was scoring 60 points a game. Fuente's been an utter failure and disappointment at Virginia Tech, and Bronco Mendenhall has exceeded expectations at Virginia. So it's been the exact opposite of really what most people thought was going to happen when those two hires were made. And I do not think they're beating Miami this weekend. I also don't think Justin Fuente's getting fired this year, but I hear what you're saying about the hot seat. Enrique Robles, good to see you in here, sir. Congrats to your team on a Southern Carolina win. He says, how's it going, Lou? Trojans going 6-0 and Oregon going 6-0. Who wins and gets in the college football playoff? Shout out to Georgia. You love to see Kirby shoot himself in the foot. I do think it's possible Southern Cal could go 6-0. I think their toughest game, I think they just won their toughest game. I think Southern Cal and Arizona State are the two best teams in the Pac-12 South. You guys found a way to win a close one there. You have to assume you're only going to get better now as the season goes along, and I don't think you're going to play another team as good as Arizona State in the regular season. I do think Oregon's better than you right now, but again, we got 6 weeks to go before that game even happens in theory, if it does end up happening. It'd be a good game, I think. Right now, having seen each team play just once, I'd probably pick Oregon. But I've only seen each team play once, so hard to make a determination on that. People laughed at me, but I said all offseason I thought Southern Cal was going to be good. I've been right on some and wrong on some. Maybe I was right on Southern Cal. We'll see. It looked pretty good. Pretty good to me on Saturday. That's a good win. A lot of people may not see it as a good win because it's Arizona State. But again, I think Arizona State's going to be a really good team this year too. I think the three best teams in the Pac-12 are Oregon, Southern Cal, and Arizona State. Maybe you throw Cal in there at fourth. But so I think that was a good win. A real good win. Back to the phone and see what they're talking about. Oh, yeah, good morning, but you're on with Uncle Lou, though.
How's it going, Lou? Blue Guy Sports Media.
Hey, what's up, buddy?
Not much. I'd just like to take this opportunity to talk to some of my fellow SEC East cellar dwellers.
Yes.
So I want to start out with South Carolina.
Yes.
South Carolina, this is your time. You need to get rid of Muschamp right now because no one's firing their coaches this year. So you'll have maybe someone will actually take the job because they have nowhere else to go. Also, Tennessee, the reason no one wants the job is because you guys keep firing everybody every 2 years and make them Alabama assistants, and then they come back and beat your ass at Alabama. It just doesn't make any sense to me.
Damn.
That's the reason Tennessee's in the damn dumpster fire they are right now, is because they have no consistency at the head coach. As soon as they hit any adversity, Tennessee, man, just wants to roll up and quit and get a new coach.
Man. Hey, now you're a Kentucky fan. Y'all have already played Tennessee, right?
Yes, we beat them.
Remind me what the score was again.
The score was 7-34.
My God, y'all beat Tennessee. Kentucky beat Tennessee 34-7. Oh my God. Oh.
Yeah, we wasn't even playing basketball that day.
Oh. Man.
Yeah.
All right.
But also, maybe Gatewood will get some confidence this weekend playing against Vandy, because
if he
that's
almost anybody could look good against Vandy. Almost anybody, not Georgia, but almost anybody else could. we haven't played Vandy yet either. We played them in a couple of weeks, maybe. We'll see. Everybody's getting a Rona now, so we'll see.
Yeah, that's true. So, this is probably already been asked before. Are they actually gonna play those games, like reschedule those games?
Well, there's only one makeup date. It's December 12th. So if your team has 2 games that are canceled, you can't play them both. So only at most you'll one game, and the SEC is going to pick who plays, not the individual team. In other words, they're going to pick a game that has division implications over a game that doesn't, if it came down to that. So Florida, if Florida cancels a game against an East team, then Florida's just never going to play LSU this year. They're going to play the East team, not LSU. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what they'll do. So, but it'll be up to the SEC. Yeah. It'll be up to the SEC which games get played. If you got more than one that's postponed.
Yeah. All right, I appreciate you having me on.
All right, good to hear from you, sir. Good luck the rest of the way to your Wildcats. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou.
Hey, Uncle Lou. This is Evan Michoni. I'm calling from Champaign, Illinois, University of Illinois.
Yes, sir.
I was on the show. I was talking to you yesterday.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, I'm just calling. I'm a sports broadcasting major here and a journalism minor. I just really led the show, and I just really wanted to say, I know I'm a Big Ten school and I support Illinois, but I really love your show and your channel, and I know you don't look at yourself as an analyst or a journalist or whatever, but in my case, I really do enjoy your show and watching you every single morning. And
where are you at now? At Illinois? Are you a freshman, senior, or somewhere in between? What?
No, junior. I'm a junior. I cover the football and basketball team.
Okay. So, now you're a broadcast major. So at Illinois, do they have an on-campus studio where y'all can do a campus TV shows?
Yeah.
I'm
in the college and yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm in the college and media, and we have a little studio, and I just do my homework and do my broadcasting. I write for the school paper stuff out of here, and my high school was a copy and paste, our logo and everything out of Georgia. So that's how I kind of got brought to your channel. I was always had that soft spot for Georgia in my heart, and because I played football and our uniforms were just a copy and paste to Georgia. So I always had that soft spot, and that led me to your channel. And you told me yesterday, you don't look at yourself as an analyst, but I really look at you as a true fan, and it's true emotion, and I really like watching it.
Yeah.
And that's coming from a journalism major, somebody that's young and up and coming in the field. So
well, yeah, I appreciate it. I take that as a compliment for sure. Yeah. And now, do you know who Mark Rogers is?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. Because that might be somebody that you he did what you're wanting to do.
Yeah, I follow him on Twitter, Mark Rogers TV, right?
Yeah, he went to Kent State. He was a broadcast journalism major, and he worked his way through local news, local news stations. He covering sports. He covered everything from high school football. Eventually, he was covering college football, mostly SEC West teams. I think he worked at a station in Mississippi somewhere. Worked his way up, different thing. Ended up at ESPN for a while. He would be a guy.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, he would be a guy. When you get to the point where you're graduating or looking around or want information about which directions to go, or that would be somebody worth emailing. He's a really nice guy. If you emailed him and told him who you were and what you were doing, I'm sure he would take the time to email you back and give you any advice or whatever that stuff like that. He's a really nice guy.
Yeah. Thanks for the advice, Lou. And then before I let you go, I just had one question, and this is specific to my school, and I always wanted to get your opinion on this. So, like, Illinois is like, I feel like our school is in a really weird situation because, like, we're in the Big Ten. So, it's not easy, but it's not the toughest conference ever. And,
right.
We're not a small school. We get 40,000 kids here. 2005 we went to the Rose Bowl. And I don't know how big you are in basketball. Our basketball team's ranked number 8 going into the preseason poll this year. So when you have a football team and we have a beautiful facility and I feel like we're smack dab in the middle of the Midwest, like, why can't we get the recruiting, or is it the coaching, or is it the system, or is it just kids don't want to come here because of the name? Like, they'd rather go to an Ohio State or an Alabama or in a Georgia. Why do you think it's like that?
There are certain built-in recruiting advantages to certain schools. The most obvious one is geography. So, for example, it's going to be easier to recruit in the state of Florida or Georgia or Texas or California than it is to recruit in New Hampshire, just to make an extreme example. So you have that working against you. And then it's name recognition, right? If you're a high school kid growing up in Tennessee, you probably don't know that much about the Illinois football program. You know what I mean? I think it's harder for those mid-level teams to recruit nationally. And because you're in a state, Illinois, that doesn't have a ton of D1 football talent compared to some of the other states I mentioned, Georgia, Florida, whatever, you have to go outside of Illinois a lot of times to fill your roster. And the further away you get from Illinois, the harder it becomes to, convince a kid into going there, especially a kid that also has an offer to, let's say, Nebraska, whatever, Tennessee.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's a name recognition thing. And so you really got to get a coach in there. You got to, lightning has to strike, right? You got to get a coach in there who somehow, with the talent you're able to get there, has a couple of amazing years. That then pulls up your recruiting, because instead of winning 6 games a year, you're winning 10 or 11, and kids are watching you play in New Year's Six Bowls. The school's name becomes bigger.
Right. And last year we were in the Red Box Bowl, which wasn't bad at all. And then this year it's just total collapse. It is being a fan of this team all the time. Is just you feel like we take little steps forward and then it's just a big step backwards every year or two.
Yeah. And that's the hardest thing for a team like Illinois to do, is to be good consistently. Like, you look at Minnesota won 11 games last year. That was the first time they've won 11 games since the 1930s. Recruiting sets a floor. You can have a bad year, but if you've got 4 straight recruiting classes in the 20s, a bad year is going to be 7 or 8 wins. If you're consistently recruiting in the 50s or 60s or worse, a bad year is going to give you 3 wins, and then it just becomes harder. It's a cycle that repeats itself then, and it's hard to break out of that.
Yeah. Does Luke Ford ring a bell?
The tight end from Georgia, yeah.
Luke Ford.
How's he doing?
They don't play him. He sits on the bench. He couldn't play all of last year because of the transfer portal or whatever, and now he doesn't play this year. He sits on the bench. I'm like, what is going on?
Yeah.
He was the number 1 tight end in the country coming out of high school.
That's surprising that he can't get on the field at Illinois. Yeah, it's disappointing.
Yeah, that's all I wanted to say, Uncle Lou. Thank you for taking my call. I'm always a fan. So
all right, buddy. Yeah, good to hear from you, and good luck with your with your classes and that. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou.
Hey, Lou. It's Smata.
Hey, Smata. What's up, buddy?
Hey, what do you think of Notre Dame rushing the field on Saturday night, during a pandemic?
I don't think it was the smartest thing to do, but if you take the pandemic thing away, I love seeing. I mean, isn't that why that's one of the that's why we love college football instead of the NFL, the passion that goes along with it. It obviously wasn't the smartest thing to do given the circumstances. And again, I know that there are differing opinions on Corona and coronavirus, but the point is, regardless of what we individually believe, if a player for Notre Dame catches the coronavirus, he's out. It doesn't matter that I'm just saying in general, it doesn't matter that someone out there somewhere thinks the coronavirus is just the common cold with a different name. So it wasn't smart in that respect, Now, Brian Kelly knew this was coming ahead of time, and so he told the players either before the game or at halftime, he told them, if we win, they're rushing the field. y'all need to get off the field immediately. Because normally, if you go back and watch games in the past where fans or students or whatever rush the field, the team will stay out there. They'll be right in the middle of it. Brian Kelly went ahead and told his team ahead of time, look, they're coming if we win. So as soon as the game is over, y'all need to get off the field. And to the best of my knowledge, they did that. So hopefully there are no issues that come from this. But generally speaking, I guess it clearly wasn't a good idea to do it with the pandemic. But take that away, I love the whole rushing the field thing.
I agree. Florida has this, I guess, unspoken rule that they'll never do that, but that saddens me a little because I'd love to rush out onto the field after a Gator game sometime.
Yeah, it's happened one time in UGA history, and I was there.
Oh, wow. Did you run out there?
Yeah. Yep, sure did.
That's pretty cool.
Jumped right over the hedges.
You didn't get hurt or anything, did you?
No. Well, hell, we were so excited. We rushed the damn field with 2 minutes to go in the game. They had to stop the game for 20 minutes to get all of us off the field. One of the goalposts was halfway down with a minute and a half still to go in the game. I mean, it was twisted sideways and hanging. It was almost touching the ground already on one end with a minute and a half to go in the game. We were playing Tennessee and we were up by one score. Tennessee had the ball. And it was like this was going to be their last chance to win the game, right? And they threw an interception. And the students and the fans had already come down out of the bleachers and were surrounding there's a walkway that goes around the field at Sanford Stadium. And then you have a chain link fence. And then right on the other side of that chain link fence is the hedges that everybody knows about. And so everybody was already crowded right there by that chain link fence. And when Georgia intercepted that pass, it's like the floodgates opened. And everybody jumped the fence and ran out on the field and started climbing on the goalpost. And there was still like a minute and 40 seconds to go in the game. It took them about 15 minutes to clear the field off. And then Georgia had to come out and take a knee 3 times or whatever it was. And then we rushed the field again.
But was this back when Tennessee was good at least?
Yeah, at the time, we hadn't beaten Tennessee in Sanford Stadium in I don't know how many, a long time. This was was it 2000? I think it was 2000. It was 2000. Yeah, it was back in 2000. And we hadn't beaten Tennessee in God knows when. That was, Tennessee was great in the 90s. So they had beat us a lot of years in a row. And we got to win.
They won the Natty in 99, right?
They won the Natty in 98. Yep.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah, right.
The Natty game was played in 99, in January of 99, but it was the 98 season that they won the Natty,
gotcha.
and this was in 2000 when we rushed the field. Quincy Carter was the quarter. I high-fived Quincy Carter right on the 50-yard line. I saw people. It was unbelievable. I guess this happens every time people rush the field. I don't know. I only have this one experience, but if it wasn't glued down to that field, people was walking off with it. I mean, helmets, shoulder pads, cleats, benches that the players sit on, the water coolers. I remember about 2 hours after the game ended walking through downtown Athens, and I heard all these people singing the Georgia Fight song, and I turned around, and there was a group of about 30 people carrying a goalpost through downtown Athens.
Wow. Did they get a player to sign it at least?
I don't know. I don't have any idea. I don't know about all that, but yeah, it was great. If anybody listening is ever at a game, I don't care if you're 20 or 60, if you're ever at a game and that happens, participate. Go out in it. It's a lot of fun. It's a once in a lifetime experience probably for most people, but that was a lot of fun.
I mean, judging by your description, it's not hard to figure they never allowed y'all to do that again. I mean,
well, there's really
kind of chaotic.
I mean, no one allows it. It's against every school's rules. It's against every conference's rules, and you're fined every time you do it. But you can't stop 40,000 people from doing anything. You can't.
True.
If Florida decides they want to rush the field, they'll rush the field. A rule preventing it is not what's stopping it.
I remember last year Cincinnati rushed the field after beating UCF, and people thought that was kind of funny.
Well, I guess it's funny to us because we're Power 5 people, but if you're Cincinnati, that might be, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I understood it completely. I mean, UCF had been undefeated for 2 years, and I get it. They have a pretty decent rivalry within that realm. So, well, thanks for taking my call, Lou.
Yeah,
Have
good
a
to hear
night.
from you, buddy. Talk to you again soon, I am sure. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou.
What's up, Uncle Lou? How are you doing, sir?
Doing good. How are you?
I'm good. This is Matty Sims. I'm disappointed that Alabama is going to have another bye week. So I want to ask you questions about the last opponent we played, which is Mike Leach. And I want to talk about, like, I guess what your thoughts on him are so far as his tenure in the SEC, at least at Mississippi State, because I find him to be kind of a bit of an enigma.
Well, I mean, they've been disappointing since they set the expectations so high week 1 against LSU. I mean, you got to remember, we all know LSU's not that good now. We didn't know that week 1. All we knew is that they weren't going to be as good as they were last year. And, you know, they broke every SEC passing record known to man in his first ever game in the SEC. Now, since then, they've been an utter disaster, and they're probably the second worst team in the SEC right now. Will that be the case 2-3 years down the road? I don't know. You know, they've had a lot of players quit the team because they're not fitting in with the style of offense he's wanting to run there. So it's, you know, he's got to get a couple of recruiting classes under his belt or whatever. I said this when he was hired. I think that's a good hire for a school like Mississippi State. But, you know, Mike Leach has been, I mean, how long was he at, where was he, Texas Tech and then Washington State? What has he ever won? Nothing. Hard to imagine coaching in the Pac-12 for all those years that you're going to come to the SEC and somehow be more successful at Mississippi State than you were at Washington State in the Pac-12. So do I think he'll ever win the SEC or anything like that? No. But I think if he gets his players in there that can run that offense, I mean, quarterback is key to his offense, clearly. You know, can they win 8 games a year and you know, beat Alabama once every 4 years or something like that? Maybe. But I think that would be about the ceiling of what Mike Leach is going to do.
Oh, I would definitely agree with that. And I guess to elaborate on that, do you think the issue so far they're having this year is more of a scheme fit issue where the air raid is not working well because teams have realized if you drop and use a bunch of defensive backs, that'll just clutter the field and they can't throw deep? Or do you think it's more of a personnel issue where Leach doesn't have the players who fit his system and thus he cannot execute the offense that he wants to run?
I think it's a personnel issue because everybody knows Alabama and Florida is going to throw the ball and they still can't stop it. Right?
Yeah.
So Mike Leach really isn't doing anything that is surprising anybody. So I just think it's a personnel issue. You know, like I said, they got a lot of players quit, opt out. Their best player quit 2 weeks ago, Kylan Hill, right in the middle of the season. So they've had a lot of injuries at quarterback position. So there's a lot of built-in excuses for Mississippi State this year. New coaching staff, no offseason. I mean, I'm more shocked that Mississippi State did what they did week 1. That shocks me more than the fact that they're terrible now. Because you bring a new coaching staff in and install a whole new offense, a complicated offense, and you look that good week 1 against, again, a team we thought at the time was good, LSU. Maybe we didn't think they were national championship material this year, but no one thought LSU was going to be terrible. So we looked at that win, and people were like, oh, my God, this is unbelievable. Again, it's not like they just played good. KJ Costello broke every passing record ever in that game in the SEC. 600-700 yards he threw for, whatever it was. So can they improve over what we're seeing now? Yeah, I'm sure they'll get a little better over the years if he can get some better players in there. I don't think he's ever winning the SEC. Again, that offense isn't surprising anybody. You know, if this was 5 years ago, what he was doing would be, you know, the SEC defenses wouldn't know what to do with it. But a lot of teams in the SEC run that kind of offense now. Alabama, Florida, a few others try it, don't run it as good. Ole Miss. So, I I don't expect much from Mike Leach in terms of winning divisions or SEC titles.
All right. Well, I guess that's all the questions I had. Thank you so much for taking my call, Uncle Lou.
Yeah, good to hear from you, sir. Thank you for calling in. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou.
Yo, what up, Uncle Lou?
What's up, buddy?
It's Kendall from Auburn. I was wondering what you thought about Texas A&M. Like, if you think if they win the rest of their games, if they might make the playoffs, if there's a possibility there might be, that fourth spot open for them. Because, I mean, obviously right now they're number 5, which, the playoff committee has not come out with their first rankings, but they have 5 games left, Tennessee, Ole Miss, LSU, Auburn.
Yeah, I have two different.
And,
I have two different
I was wondering
opinions
if you
on
think
Texas
all
A&M.
5 of those games.
Yeah, I have two different opinions on Texas A&M that don't agree with each other. On one hand, I've got a team that could be sitting there at 9-1 at the end of the year, having played a 10-game SEC schedule, and their only loss would be to an undefeated Alabama. That's amazing. That's one point of view. My other point of view tells me I'm having a hard time buying into Texas A&M because of how up and down they've been every other year. And they beat Florida. And the thing about the Alabama game, maybe if it would have been a little closer, but 28 points, it really was never a competitive game. With all that being said, though, there's not very many things that have to happen for a 9-1 Texas A&M to get in the playoffs. I don't give them much of a chance to win, and doesn't even matter who they play. I don't think Texas A&M would beat Alabama, Clemson, Ohio State, Notre Dame. I doubt they would even beat Florida if they played again right now. But they could find themselves in there, because the thing is, let's say Florida loses by 3 to Alabama. Well, you can't put Florida in with 2 losses, and one of those losses is to Texas A&M. So depending on what happens, you need the Pac-12 to lose a couple of games is mostly what you need. And even if that happens, I think Notre Dame might get in over you. Notre Dame beating Clemson probably hurt you. You needed Clemson to beat Notre Dame twice is what you needed. It didn't happen. So Clemson and Notre Dame are going to play again. Clemson's going to beat them. You're going to have a 1-loss Notre Dame and a 1-loss Texas A&M. Notre Dame probably get the 4 spot there, if that's the way it worked out. Plus, you got to dodge the Pac-12. So the odds aren't good for Texas A&M. But if they're sitting there at 9-1, they're going to be considered.
Yeah, they definitely don't control their own destiny, but they really could have a shot at the very end if they finish 9-1, which I don't know about the Auburn game. I'm really not sure about that one. That's I mean, all the games on their schedule definitely look winnable, but that's the only one I'm really looking at.
Yeah, you'll be favored in every game. It is tricky. Playing Auburn and LSU in back-to-back weeks to end the season is not easy. I know we just got done saying how terrible LSU is. LSU is still one of the 5 or 6 most talented teams in America. And on any given week, if they figure it out and put it together, they can be a tough team. So I would pick Texas A&M to win against Auburn if they were playing tomorrow, and I would pick Texas A&M to win against LSU if they were playing tomorrow. But they're not playing tomorrow, and playing them in back-to-back weeks is not going to be easy. But if you get through that and you're sitting there at 9-1, you're going to be considered for that fourth. You're going to be considered for that 4th spot, depending on what happens with Clemson and Notre Dame, and depending on what happens in the Pac-12. Thank you for the call.
And,
I appreciate that. It's good to hear from you. I'm trying to run through the rest of these calls quick because we got to wrap this up soon. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou.
Good morning, Uncle Lou. First thing I want to say is, how about that Florida win? I mean, I'm sure you've heard it a lot. I've been waiting 3 years to say it. So that's the first thing I got to say. I'm sure you're tired of hearing it.
Oh, no, I never get tired of hearing it.
So one quick thing there's a couple things, but I wanted to mention real quick. You mentioned a few callers ago that at one point in time you did rush the field. And you mentioned that I think it was against Tennessee, and I wanted to add in the last time Florida ever rushed the field, it was never at home. It was in Jacksonville in the 80s, and my dad was there, and I think Georgia might have beaten them maybe 5 or 6 years in a row at the time, or something like that. It was something ridiculous, where we haven't beaten Georgia in a while. And they rushed the field, and they tore down the goalpost, and they actually assembled it together on the president of the university's front lawn. So I thought that was cool. So I just wanted to mention that because I remember you brought up your story about rushing the field. I wish Florida would, but I understand why they don't. They kind of act like we've been there.
Yeah.
So I get that. But going back on what the caller right before me said, he was talking about A&M. Yeah, I scratch my head every day, and it really makes me mad that Florida lost to A&M, considering that I see how good the offense is. I know the defense is bad, but you were talking about the possibilities of who's going to get in. Well, if we were undefeated and lost to Alabama, then I liked our odds. But the only way Florida's going to get in is if they beat Bama. And I'm not saying they don't have a shot, because I know the offense is good. But, how does that defense hold up? And, it's not very good. And you mentioned that Notre Dame beating Clemson also doesn't help anyone's case if they're on, the outside looking in right now. I do think Clemson will beat them again, and then that gives Notre Dame a chance to backdoor the playoffs, which I don't think Notre Dame has a chance at beating anyone in the playoffs. Yeah, they beat Clemson in overtime without Trevor Lawrence. I get Trevor Lawrence doesn't play defense, but Trevor Lawrence is the projected first overall pick, and I'd like to think that Trevor Lawrence is going to beat Notre Dame when they rematch again.
Yeah, I would pick Clemson if they were playing again tomorrow. And as far as what you said in the beginning, I know this is a weird year, coronavirus, so we're probably going to see some things we've never seen before. But one thing to keep in mind, a loser of a conference title game has never made a college football playoff. So in the grand scheme of things, losing to Texas A&M probably didn't matter for you. In any case,
right,
you would have to beat Alabama probably to get in. Now, because it's a corona year, this could be the year maybe a loser of Notre Dame, for example. If Notre Dame beats Clemson and they each have one loss, maybe they both get in. Whereas under normal circumstances, that would eliminate Notre Dame. And no conference championship game loser has ever made the playoffs. Thank you for the call, sir. Moving right along. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou.
Hey, Uncle Lou. How are you doing this morning?
Doing good. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great. Listen, I'm a first-time listener, and I just want to ask you a question, and then I'm going to hang up and listen to it off the air so other people can get in before you close it off tonight. But my question is can South Carolina afford to hang on to Muschamp and Tanner? And I enjoy your show. Like I said, first-time listener. And I'm going to hang up and listen to it off there.
Okay, yeah, thanks for calling in. I'm glad you found the show, and I'm glad you're enjoying it. I'll start by saying I don't know that much about the athletic director situation and whether they can or can't afford to get rid of him or whether they should or shouldn't. I don't really know enough really to even give an opinion on that. As far as Will Muschamp goes, I've had the same opinion of Will Muschamp since he was at Florida, and it hasn't changed. I don't think Will Muschamp is head coach material. He's an elite defensive mind, and if he got fired tomorrow from South Carolina, he'd have a job in the SEC the next day as either a defensive coordinator or a defensive analyst or something. He's an elite defensive mind. I think coaches are going to get some leniency this year because of the coronavirus thing. No offseason, and on top of that, the buyout. Now, it's not that much. I think it's $15 million, and it's crazy. We say that's not that much compared to some other buyouts we see. Schools have lost all kinds of money. People are out of work. There's a lot of discussion at schools about not being able to afford a buyout, but how to spin that to the public without it looking bad. You just $15 million, fire this guy, there's people out of work, whatever. And that's what's going on at Carolina now, from what I'm hearing, is they're trying to figure out a way, public relations wise, to spend that money without it looking bad. But I don't think they should keep Will Muschamp. If there's a way they can get rid of him, I think they should do it. I just, he's been there a long time, relatively speaking. Doesn't appear to be getting any better. And on top of that, I didn't have any hopes or expectations for him when he was hired. I just don't think he's an A-level head coach. I don't think he'll ever be a successful Power 5 head coach. And Will Muschamp went to UGA. He played for UGA. I don't have a reason to hate Will Muschamp other than the fact that he's been the head coach of Florida and South Carolina. But so I don't hate the guy. And I would take him on Georgia's defensive staff tomorrow, and so would anyone else. But some people just aren't cut out to be head coaches. It doesn't mean they can't succeed doing something else, coordinating, position coach, something like that. I just don't think Will Muschamp's cut out to be a head coach. If I was South Carolina, I would try to spin it like, look, we're going to pay Muschamp to $15 million. I know that's a lot of money and coronavirus and blah, blah, blah. But we're going to save some money by not hiring one of these search firms to go out and find us a new coach. We're just going to promote Mike Bobo. That's what I would do if I was South Carolina. I would promote Mike Bobo and make him head coach. That's what I would do. As far as the Ray Tanner thing goes, I have no clue. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou.
Hey, Lou. How's it going?
Going great.
I got a question for you, unless you're saving this for a video down the road. How do you see the SEC championship playing out?
If Alabama and Florida are playing tomorrow, I'd pick Alabama. I think they're a more complete team.
Yeah, I know.
I think they have a better defense than Florida. I think they have a better running game than Florida. And they're way more experienced, and they clearly have a much better head coach. I just think there's too many built-in advantages for Alabama. But I do think it would be a good game, and I do think Florida has a chance to win. An offense like Florida's is going to give them a chance against anybody.
I believe that as well, but I just think Dan Mullen's not skilled enough to beat Nick Saban on that big stage.
No, Dan Mullen's a clown. That's been confirmed numerous times. Getting lucky and beating Kirby Smart once every 4 years doesn't change that.
Yeah. You also seen, well, everybody knows how bad Georgia's quarterback play is, so
yeah,
that made it way worse than it should have been.
Yeah. I mean, I hate to lose to Florida, but I kind of saw this coming, and I don't have any reason to believe we won't go out and beat them next year. So I'm not, other than the fact that our season is over, I'm not too concerned about it. I'm not worried about Dan Mullen, I can promise you that. He can't recruit.
I just don't see a way.
His wife's getting older, so, you know, his best recruiting tool ain't getting no younger.
Yeah, I just don't see a way that Florida defense can hold up. They both have top offenses, but I just don't see a way that they can beat Nick Saban, especially in the second half.
I don't either. I don't either. Like I said, I do think Florida could make it close. That offense gets rolling, but it would be hard for me to pick against Alabama in that situation. Thank you for the call. Thank you for the call, sir. That's it for the calls. No one else is on hold, so we will wrap up the phone call portion of the show. Yeah, we have to. What's going on in the comments section? Who's still here? Oh, a bunch of y'all here. Over 200 of y'all in here. Only 97 thumbs up, though? Y'all hurt my feelings. Hit the thumbs up. If you enjoyed the show. If you didn't, don't hit the thumbs up. But if you enjoyed the show, hit the thumbs up. Jordan Bowman, what's up, buddy? Bender. Dareal. R. Gannon. Smata. TV Watcher. Caitlin McQuaid. Russell Westbrook fan. Matt Sims, Mike Taylor, Epic Games, Vandy Dandy. Morning to you, sir. Adam's Apple is here. That's good. UGA Dog, Skid Row 478, Jabari Jones. How's everybody doing this evening? You seem to be doing well. And that's good. That makes me happy. DJ Bucci wants to let everyone know he's an LSU fan. Willie Squiggly FN. Most of A&M's corona problems is contact tracing. Yeah. What's up, Albert? Andrew. Alan V. Troll Patrol. Jerome Pruitt is here. Jeremy Garrettson. Gator Tide 4. Chris Wallace. Epic Games. Hey, Lou, I'm 13. I'm a huge fan, but unfortunately, I'm a Voltard. Nothing wrong. Look, don't ever apologize for being a fan of your team. I get what you're saying. They are terrible this year. Terrible. Terrible. Don't ever apologize for being a fan of your team, sir. Uncle Lou 2024 president. That's a great idea. Clearly, I would make an amazing president. Unfortunately, I just don't have time. Bluegrass Sports Media, how many points we get? Oh, they're trying to make a bet in there. Yeah, whatever bet y'all makes on y'all. Don't come to me telling me such and such didn't pay his bet to you. It's between y'all. Jawari Jones says, I want Urban Meyer to UGA, so yeah, it's not happening. No. I would lose my mind if that happened. Urban Meyer's a human trash can. Thomas Kersey, good to see you in here, sir. Says, love the channel. Whoa, Todd. I'm glad you like the channel, sir. Andrew Shepard Keys. Are you excited for another 12th place finish for Georgia basketball this season? 12th. That's a little generous. That's a little generous. I don't have any expectations for Georgia's basketball team this year. None. I had some last year and I was let down. This year, I'm not falling for it. Epic Games says he'll be back. He's going to change his name. All right. Well, we will be anxiously awaiting this new name reveal. Why you don't like Urban Meyer? Jabari, haven't you been here for a while, sir? Bubba Griffith says free BVD. Did he get locked up? Executive order, Urban to Auburn. Urban's not coming to the... Come on. Y'all have got to be trolling. Y'all know Urban Meyer's not coming to the SEC. Y'all know that's not happening. I know you meant 12th in the SEC. That's being generous. There's 14 teams in the SEC, so I don't expect Georgia to finish 12th. Notre Dame versus Boston College, upset alert. Well, you do see that sometimes after a team gets a big win. I don't know if I can pick that, though. DeJuan Mathis equals Felipe Franks at Florida. Felipe Franks way better than anything I've seen from DeJuan Mathis. Not even close. Can you call back? No. Phone system is turned off. What happened to the song, Lou? What song? Why is Notre Dame rated so high every year? What? They're undefeated and they just beat the number one team in America. That's why they're rated so high. Come on. DeJuan Mathis is Trayon Harris with stilts. No, Trayon Harris won. Trayon Harris was a winner in the Georgia-Florida game. DeJuan Mathis, was not. Trayon Harris, didn't he beat Georgia one year and only completed one pass? Remember that? What was that? Mark Rick's last year, or it was either his last year or next to the last year or something. Wasn't he like one for? What was he? Remember that was the year y'all literally ran the same running play like 50 times, and you ran for like 300 yards on us and blew us out. Trayon Harris was like 1 for 4 for 12 yards or something. God, that made me so mad, man. Boy, that pissed me off. Uncle Lou needs to bring back the vlog series during the off season. Some of the most underrated content on the channel. I love doing those vlogs, but it's like people have asked me about that before. I found out real quick when I did those vlogs, these people that have the vlog channels, that has to be really about all you do on you. Those things take so long to make. First of all, you got to carry your camera around with you all day long and film everything because you don't know what's going to happen. So you just film everything all day. And then the next day you get ready to make a video. You've got 6 hours of video and you've got to pick out 10 or 15 minutes. It takes a long time to do. So that doesn't mean I'll never do any again, but it'll never be a regular thing on here. I may do some every once in a while, like you said, in the off season when I have more time to do more creative. Some of the most creative, some of my favorite videos I've ever made have been during the off season. I have a lot more time to just sit and think about videos to make. During the season, everything is kind of on a schedule, and there's so much going on, football related, that I kind of just get in a routine and put my head down and just go. During the off season, I've got more free time. But some of my favorite videos, the Georgia Tech video, You Can Do That. That was an off season video. There's been a lot of videos like that I made in the off season that I really like, but they get lost in a shuffle sometimes. When's your next 24-hour stream? I tell you what, y'all help me hit 40,000 subscribers. I'll do a 24-hour stream. How about that? Y'all help me. Not on this channel, on the main channel. Is there anybody here that's not subscribed to the main channel? That would help me get to 40,000 subscribers. Make sure you're subscribed to the main channel. The main channel is Uncle Lou. If you just type Uncle Lou in the YouTube search bar, it'll come up. Help me get to 40,000 subscribers. Pick out your favorite Uncle Lou video and share it. Do that once a week. Share an Uncle Lou video once a week. You know, some of these people want you to share every video they ever make and all this kind of stuff. I don't ever ask people to share videos, but you want me to do a 24-hour stream? Help me get to 40,000 subscribers on the main channel. Once a week, share an Uncle Lou video somewhere. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, however whatever social media type things you're in. Help me get to 40,000 subs and we'll come up with something for a 24-hour stream. How about that? Uncle Lou, I feel like I annoyed the shit out of you with my Southern Miss talk. No, it's actually refreshing to have somebody call up and talk about a different team. I don't have much to add to the conversation. Maybe that's why it seems that way. I don't like to pretend that I'm things that I'm not, and I'll just be honest, I can't name one player on Southern Miss. It's nothing against Southern Miss. So maybe that's why it seems that way, because I don't, somebody calls up and starts talking about Alabama, I've got plenty of opinions there, or Ohio State or Clemson or Notre Dame or Georgia or whatever. Well, with Southern Miss, I don't have a whole lot to say because I don't know a whole lot about Southern Miss, and I don't like blowing smoke up people's ass and pretend like I know something that I don't. Javen Kraft, what formerly known as Epic Games. Congratulations on the name change, sir. Uncle Lou approves. That's who you should be talking to about Southern Miss is this Jabari Jones guy. This Jabari Jones will talk for hours about Cincinnati and UConn and Memphis and Temple and, these schools. Does UJ do what Florida does and have a ton of police officers around the edge of the field at the end of the game to arrest anyone who tries to storm the field? Yeah, everybody does that. But they don't have 40,000 police officers. So, like I said, everybody does that. It can't be stopped. You think Bobo would be good as head coach? I think he deserves a shot. I mean, he's been a head coach before. It didn't work out great, but he was at a terrible team, and he's an elite offensive mind. At least I think he is. He's no Lane Kiffin, but there ain't but one Lane Kiffin. But he's a good offensive mind. He's an SEC guy. He's got roots in the Southeast. He's from the state of Georgia. That would help with recruiting. He was at Georgia for a long time, so he's got a lot of connections in the Southeast in general when it comes to recruiting with high school coaches and all that kind of stuff. I don't think it would be the worst thing Carolina ever did to promote Mike Bobo. I don't know that you can say Kirby Smart's never going to win the SEC again. I don't know about that. I mean, regardless of how bad Georgia is right now at the quarterback position, they're still the most talented team in America. Their recruiting is through the roof. Now, that may dry up at some point down the road, but recruiting has a lagging effect, right? I mean, you put together 4 or 5 good recruiting classes in a row, that helps you 4 or 5 years down the road. It's not the type of thing where you get bad overnight. Georgia's going to have an opportunity to win SEC titles every single year with the talent that they have. I mean, it's kind of hard to go around saying Nick Saban's the greatest coach of all time and then say Kirby Smart's terrible because he can't beat him. I mean, if anybody wants to, I'll take Kirby Smart's first 5 years as a Power 5 head coach versus Nick Saban's first 5 years as a Power 5 head coach. I'll take Kirby Smart's first 5 years versus Dabo Swinney's first 5 years. I mean, I don't think there's any reason to panic about Kirby Smart. He's clearly got to get the quarterback thing figured out. That is clear. But listen, there's a lot worse situations to be in. You could be in a situation where your entire offense is terrible or your entire defense is terrible. Kirby just needs to get one position figured out. That's it. Is Jeremy Pruitt the coach to lead Tennessee in the right direction? That has to be a troll. No, Pruitt is terrible. Kirby inherited a program that hadn't won the SEC in 10 years. All right, y'all are getting silly with the third grade troll comments now. That tells me it's just about time to end the stream. Is there ever an offensive coordinator that Kirby will respect enough to give enough control so they can actually have a modern offense? I mean, Monken is in control of the offense. You watch Georgia's offense this year, it's not the same offense it was the last 3 years. It's totally different. They just don't have a quarterback that can execute the plays. There's wide receivers running open all over the field on every time a Georgia quarterback drops back to throw the ball. They can't hit them. They're just terrible quarterbacks. I like what I've seen from Monken. The Masters is a dud. No one even knows it's happening, Caitlin. I have no idea, Austin. I don't have any idea who's starting anywhere for anybody anytime next year. Oregon still has a shot to win the Pac-12. They played one game. I mean, of course they have it. Oregon, come on, they're not winning. What are you? Come on. UTEP can beat Alabama by 100. All right. Appreciate y'all tuning in this evening. The kids need to go to bed. I'll be back Thursday night, 10 p.m. Eastern. I'll see you then. Have a good morning.